Moratorium 2013. I'm glad to be here. My name is Jose Lopez Rivera. Thank you for having me here today. I'm about to break down some history about the Xicana movement in Oakland and the missing history of the Xicana movement and the Xicana Moratorium in Oakland, how it has a deep history right here where we stand, San Antonio Park. Many out there don't know the history of Oakland, of the raza in Oakland. And the raza history of Oakland started in West Oakland. Back in the days, back in the 1910s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. And a lot of those people that came to West Oakland came from Mexico fleeing the revolution. But the first barrio was in West Oakland. In the 1950s, the city of Oakland destroyed the first barrio of Oakland. And it goes in contact with what gentrification is today. Back then, they called it urban renewal. And they destroyed the original barrio to build the 880, to build the post office, the BART, and everyone was displaced into Fruitvale in the 1950s and 60s. And that's how Fruitvale became the barrio of Oakland. In 1968, there was a murder of a young Chicano on the corner of 35th and Galindo. His name was Charles Pinky de Vaca. And his death sparked the militant movement in Oakland. Chicanos organized around that death. It was very similar to the death of Oscar Grant in 2009. Chicanos back then organized around this, and they said, "Basta con esto." And they organized the Oakland Latinos United for Justice, which is one of the first militant groups to do work in the Fruitvale area. From there, you got the Chicano Revolutionary Party, another militant organization who had a free breakfast program in Jingletown. And then you had the Brown Berets. They had a chapter in Oakland as well, and they connected with the LA chapter to build a chapter here. La Raza Unida Party had a chapter in Oakland as well. You had a big militant movement, and at the same time, Oakland was the birthplace of the Black Panthers. So we had Chicanos and Black radicals working together in solidarity. And you had other organizations like Teatro Triste. They were doing a lot of theater work back then. You had the La Clínica La Raza came out of the Chicano movement. El Centro Infantil came out of the Chicano movement, which I went to as a kid. Centro Legal de la Raza. All these organizations we know now came out of that struggle back then. One of the first Chicano protests against the Vietnam War was in Oakland in May of 1970. When Frente a Liberación del Pueblo, another organization ran by Manuel Ruben Delgado in the Jingletown area, they organized all the students in Oakland to walk out, all the Chicano students to walk out and march to the Induction Center in downtown Oakland and shut it down. That was one of the first Chicano anti-war protests in the Bay Area. And then in July 26, 1970, the La Raza Unida Moratorium, another organization, organized the Xicana Moratorium in Oakland. July 26, 1970, it started at Mary Helping Christian Church in Jingletown on East 9th. They marched to Fruitvale, down Foothill, and came here to San Antonio Park. They were 2,000 deep, and they were mobilizing for the Xicana Moratorium in LA. And Corky Gonzalez was right here on this stage where I'm speaking. And I'm blessed to be here where a Chicano hero like that came, and I'm speaking in his footsteps right here. So we have to reconnect to this history. This is a history that's been lost, and people forget. The Chicanos in Oakland were very militant and mobilized a lot around the movimiento, and we need to reconnect to this history. And we have to remember that the original barrio in West Oakland was destroyed by urban renewal, and today they're trying to push us out with something new that's similar to urban renewal. It's called gentrification, where they're trying to price us out. And we need to fight these things. We need to live in the memory of the old West Oakland barrio community who got pushed out, and they had no way of fighting it. We have to fight it today. We have to become militant again. We have to reconnect to the Chicano movement of the past in Oakland and learn about what happened here and how we connected with people in LA, with Reyes Tijerina, with Corky Gonzalez, with everybody that was in the movimiento. We need to learn how we did that, and we need to reconnect with the old generation of the Chicano movement in Oakland, for we could have a new Chicano movement and have a big movement again, a militant movement, and change things, because we have the same problems today. Gentrification, we have police brutality, we have our raza going to jail, our youth getting kicked out of schools, lack of programs. All those problems that the Chicano community of Oakland of the past are still happening today, and we need to organize around that, and we need to realize that the Chicano Moratorium, what we're celebrating today, was one of the largest Chicano protests, or protests of people of people. Are you ready?